Well, good evening, Christchurch. Welcome to this segment of What's Happening at Christchurch. I'm glad you joined me this evening. I see that Joanne Carroll is on and Rich Calbert are on. Thank you for the welcome, Rich. And yes, Joanne, I will get to Bible and Brew in just a moment. I'm Pastor Galen, and I'm glad to have you folks joining me, and I invite you to come back here to the Christchurch YouTube channel every Wednesday night, and also on Sunday mornings at 10:30 when we have our live worship. We typically begin these segments with a devotional time, and I write these with, generally speaking, some thoughts about current events. And I also entitle it Sharing the Journey, which has been my mantra for years and years in my ministry, the articles that I write. I reflect on a Bible passage, and tonight I'm reflecting on this passage from Joshua 24, verse 15, where Joshua writes to the people of Israel, "Choose this day whom you will serve." I entitle this devotional, "There Be Gods Among Us," little g for the word gods. You know, chapter 24 of Joshua starts out with Josh gathering all of Israel together. He briefly, in this chapter, recounts the story of how Israel got established in the Holy Land, how God took Abraham from his home and his kindred, from a land and a time when Abraham in his early years served other gods. Joshua tells how Abraham's family went to Egypt, how God instructed Moses and Aaron to lead that family out of Egypt to the new land, and how people occupying that new land were defeated so that the Israelite nation could enter in. Now, here in chapter 24, at the ending of Joshua's book, Joshua tells the whole nation of Israel to put away the false gods of their ancestors and serve the Lord. But they must choose to do this. They have to choose whom they will serve. Choose to be loyal to God who got them this far out of Egypt and so forth, or to be loyal to false gods from the past. Of course, I know the obvious answer. You know the obvious answer. Choose to serve God. That's the only answer. That's the only choice for them, for us. Simple, easy, right? Right. But there be gods among us, just like they were among Abraham's people, and they demand allegiance. They aren't the gods and idols of Abraham's day, no, but our gods are way more dangerous. The false god of racism is ravaging our nation right now, cultivating deep hatred toward people of other races. And it's killing people. It's killing us. It's pinning people against a tree and lynching them. It's pulling over a driver just because he looks suspicious, and the driver ends up shot and killed. The false god of resisting justice for all people is commanding attention, and that shows up in the form of fighting against the removal of Confederate flags or the removal of statues that honor leaders that supported and promoted chattel slavery. And it's supporting the keeping of these monuments and statues based on a flimsy argument that it's, quote, part of our history. Then why don't we have monuments to Jeffrey Epstein or Bonnie and Clyde or Al Capone? They're part of our history too. But we don't honor them on pedestals or monuments, nor should we. No, the God of resisting justice for all people is killing us, and it's killing people. In our Lord's Prayer, we pray and we say the phrase, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." To really pray those words, we must choose this day whom we will serve. Will we serve the gods of our day or the God of all our days? To choose to serve and be loyal to God is to desire justice for all our neighbors. To choose to serve and be loyal to God is to say no to the gods that are among us. To choose to serve and be loyal to God is to choose that God's will be done here on earth. And it starts with me. It starts with you. So today, let us choose to be loyal to God by expanding our scope of concern to neighbor and stranger, to all people. Let us promote justice for all people, focused on marginalized groups who experience the gods of systemic racism and oppression. Let us see the holy in every person and view each person's well-being on par with our own. It's the obvious answer. Choose to serve God. Tell others to serve God too. Let us pray, please. Holy God, please help us to learn to choose to be loyal to you, to serve you, and help us put away our dangerous gods with a small g. Amen. Well, friends, I have a lot to get to this evening, so I'm going to get right into what's happening at Christ Church. First of all, you are invited to worship with us in the sanctuary on July the 12th here at church. Our worship times are 8:30 and 10:30. I encourage you to use Realm or call the church office or email the church to send your RSVP in. Let us know that you are thinking of coming in to worship with us on Sunday morning at either of those times, 8:30 and 10:30. And I also want you to know that our safety protocols are in place, and we really ask that you diligently honor and practice these. First of all, wash your hands before you enter the building and or the sanctuary, or use hand sanitizer. We have hand sanitizer available at the entrances to our sanctuary, so that's really helpful. Our ushers and our greeters also will make sure that and assist you in sitting about 10 feet apart. Of course, we know that 6 feet is about the minimum. 10 feet is about the distance that our sanctuary will do well with, and our ushers will help you do that. And in worship, we're also encouraging you to be seated at all times. And wear your masks, friends. It's been really interesting to see the different colors of masks and fabrics out there that masks are made of. Wear your mask, bring them in. We have some available if you should need a mask. And we ask that if you do take a mask from us, that you take it home with you. That's really important. And keep that mask on always throughout our worship time together. I've been pleased to see that in the notes that I've been receiving and taking note, that we've had 100% of our people coming in to worship on Sundays wearing those masks. So that's part of our safety protocol. We're also encouraging you to move through the building quickly. When you enter the building and head toward the sanctuary, or when you are leaving the sanctuary and heading toward your cars out of the building, please practice that social distancing. And please do not linger. As much as possible, move through the hallways and be ready to honor those distancing rules. That's really helpful to keep the virus spread. So those are some of our safety protocols. Now, a couple of changes for us and updates from the previous 2 Sundays. First of all, the entry doors for the building, the one will be right here at the ramp door under the portico. That one's open for entering and exiting. And the only other door will be the south door at the parking lot, which is closest to not Papa John's, but the parking lot next to Papa John's. That gets you to the sanctuary. Our ushers will be right there to be with you, to guide you through. And the other doors are going to be locked, but they will have signs on them indicating where the open doors are. So we ask that you would please use those 2 doors for now. The second change comparatively to the first 2 Sundays is that we will have worship bulletins available for all worshipers coming in. They'll be at a pile at the entrances to the sanctuary. So you can pick up a worship bulletin. You can use it to guide your way through our worship service time. And we ask that you take it home with you and recycle it and do what you will. But do not let it be hanging around after the worship services. Just as a quick worship note, this particular Sunday, there will be time for us to have some silent meditation in worship after our opening liturgy. The music that's going to be offered and will be part of the silent meditation will give you time to reflect and to think, and listening to the words of the silent meditation will help you focus in on worshiping. So that's a little bit different than our often familiar worship time of prayers of thanksgiving and so forth. And speaking of worship, our hymns, something that's different that we've encouraged now from the previous 2 Sundays, our hymns you can sing. We will have a singing group up front to lead the singing for both worship services, but you'll be wearing masks, and if you care to sing quietly under your mask or hum along, please feel free to do so. The lyrics to the hymns will be on the screen on the PowerPoint presentation. So, and the same thing with the unison prayers and the liturgy that we have. It'll be printed in the bulletin. You are encouraged to say those words under your mask. So those are the worship changes comparatively to the previous Sundays. We hope that these will encourage you to have worship be more meaningful. And again, I reemphasize RSVP. If you want to let us know that you are coming to worship, that's really helpful. Use Realm, call the church office, or email the office. And just so that you're not surprised, our ushers will have clipboards, and they are taking attendance, writing your name down. And this is really important so that we have some follow-up with contact tracing. We hope and pray we will not need to do any contact tracing. So that's what's coming up for the worship time on Sunday, July the 12th. Faith formation is occurring with the Contemporary Christian Conversation class. That is at 9 a.m. You can get the link to that Zoom class on our members and friends Facebook page. And then, of course, on Tuesday, the second part of the curriculum that's offered for the Wired Word will be offered on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Again, the Contemporary Christian Conversation class will offer that by way of Zoom, and you can find that Zoom on Christ Church Members and Friends Facebook page. Carolyn Boy has checked in. She says, "Oh, nice. I'm glad there will be changes for singing and praying aloud." You're welcome, Carolyn. Joanne Carroll has asked about me making sure I say something regarding Bible and Brew. And it is this coming Monday night, July 13th at 6:30 p.m. on the deck at, no, not the deck at Hennigan's. I scratched that. It's here at the church, out our pavilion. We're gathering here, and our friend Bob Sorensen will lead the devotional. His title is The Dialogue Decalogue, or How to Talk to Other Religious Groups Without Getting into a Fistfight. Friends, this is a BYOB, Bring Your Own Brew event. And it's also a BYOC, bring your own chair event. So bring your own beverages, your own chair, and the event is near the pavilion or under it. And feel free to come and join in with Bob and Joanne and several others. So another event, in fact, it's tomorrow night. Property Committee and our Spiritual Council both begin at 6:30, but Consistory is meeting at 7:30, and that's a Zoom meeting as well. So all members of our church are welcome to attend our consistory meetings. These are open to the membership of our congregation. And if you would like to attend and would like to be part of that Zoom meeting, please check in with Nadine in the church office between 9 and 5 tomorrow. She'll be happy to give you the link to the Zoom meeting. Hey, guess what, friends? I have an important announcement to make. Carol Bubach is back. We have a church organist, everybody. Carol was hired by Consistory at a special Consistory meeting on June 28th. Carol started on July 1st. Her first day back at the organ bench is Sunday, July 19th. That's not this Sunday, but the next. So we welcome Carol back. She was our organist for almost, I believe it was almost a full 3 years, maybe slightly more. So that's great news, and we are happy to welcome Carol back as our organist. But it's with bittersweet feelings that I announce this next piece of news. James Sterling, our director of music, has submitted his resignation effective July 20th. James has accepted a new position as the director of music at the Academy of Tucson High School in Tucson, Arizona. Wow. Congratulations go out to James. James will be the only music teacher at the Academy doing online virtual teaching classes of 2 choirs, guitar classes, and music appreciation classes. James, as you may recall, most recently came to us from Tucson, Arizona, as he was finishing up his master's degree in conducting. So he's going back to, in some ways, some familiar grounds where he will know the area a little bit. We will have to figure out between now and July 20th a creative way to bid James farewell and to send him off with our blessings. So please think of that, and if you have any great creative ideas, do not hesitate to contact us at Christ Church. So we have some changes coming our way regarding our staff in the music department. Guess what, friends? The 678ers middle youth group is having an ice cream social on July 23rd at 7 p.m. An email will be, if it hasn't already been sent out to our families and friends, for the 678ers, which is our, as I said, middle school youth group. I encourage you to check in with Amy Adams about that. If it's anything like the pizza party that was done virtually, that was a fun event. I had 7 different toppings that I ate, and some were really fantastic and others were disastrous. I'll let you figure out which ones were which. There was peanut butter, there were gummy bears, there was jalapenos, there were Brussels sprouts, there was baked beans, a couple more. Forget the one. Maybe there are only 6. It was a fun night. Those 678ers are doing creative things. Friends, our live YouTube worship broadcast on Sunday mornings continues to happen at 10:30. And thank you, Carolyn. It was hard-boiled eggs. Oh my gosh. All right. Thanks, Carolyn, for updating me and reminding me. So I want to talk with you a little bit about our live YouTube worship broadcasts that continue every Sunday morning at 10:30 right here on our YouTube channel. Recently, Consistory, in fact, at its last meeting, authorized an upgrade for our internet capabilities in the sanctuary and throughout our church building. The Sound Media Group is actively pursuing companies that can provide us bids for this upgrade to help us do that. So those of you who might be experiencing on Sunday morning some audio difficulties or some video difficulties, hang in there, as we are hoping those upgrades will be coming soon. And also later on, hopefully, our upgrades to our camera system will take place. We have one basic camera that's in use now. However, for us to do the quality job that we desire, we're going to need to upgrade our cameras. So the Sound Media Group is researching upgrades for that and the cost to make those changes. If you'd like to have more information about that, please don't hesitate to call me or Wes Runnels or our Sound Media Group people. That includes Tom Downing, Chris Urich, Ken Smeltz, Rich Calbert, Bob Anderson, Jane Evans, Dan Schaefer, and Andy Fosnot. I announced a couple of weeks ago that Hartman Center will be closing this year, and our Penn Central Conference has been offering ways to celebrate Hartman Center. One way is that a digital worship service is being put together, available in early July. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it's coming. And this planning team to help celebrate Hartman is wanting testimonials and stories of Hartman Center days and ministries that have taken place. So please, if you can, and you have a memory of Hartman Center, take a moment to record a video sharing some of your memories, some of your words about what Hartman Center means to you, some of your memories about it, and send it to Hartman Center Memories, all one word, hartmancentermemories@gmail.com, so that these can be included with a lot of different voices in this sacred time. Our social media accounts for Hartman Center will be hosting a month of Hartman Center memories throughout the month of July. So if you want to check out Hartman Center memories, go to Facebook and other places to see those. Get your pictures and your stories ready and check out the calendar on Facebook page. Also, Hartman Center hikes will be taking place on each Sunday in July, starting July 12th, going all the way to August 2nd. Participants are asked to register, bring a mask, bring a sack lunch, and also maintain social distance. For Lancaster Association, August 2nd is the day that the people from our association will be hiking. And that's August 2nd. You have to register online. You can go to the Penn Central Conference website, pccucc.org, to register for the hike. A service for decommissioning of Hartman Center will take place on September 12th, and I encourage you to register for that. That is the current and correct date. So the Hartman Center is coming to its conclusion as ministry for us. However, very active in ministry with us is the community place on Washington Street. And I invite you to be aware that they are opening up the clothing barn again. And if you want to refer someone to the clothing barn, have them call Echoes at 717-689-3484. And when they get a recording, press the number 7226, and that'll get them to the clothing barn answering machine. Someone will schedule a time for them to come in and shop and to pick up the clothing that they buy. The clothing barn is open from Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. till noon. Now comes time, friends, for us to keep in prayer. I ask you to remember Diane DeArmond. She's been dealing with some unpleasant side effects of chemotherapy, but we're hoping that the upcoming therapy will yield successful results. And hopefully it's new and better. Diane also reports that Lindsay and Andy are adjusting to life with 3 little ones. The Dinsmore family also values our prayers, as Chris, our treasurer, has been through a painful time with a kidney stone, and he's dealing with some after effects of the procedure that went very well, but there's some pain involved with that. And the Dinsmores are also facing the struggle of an aging parent, so please keep them in your thoughts. Rich Calbert, who I believe is listening with us right now, continues his recovery from an infection in his foot. All is going well. I saw Jamie Lieber recently, and he continues to be on hospice care at home. So please keep him and Kay in your prayers. He is in the bed permanently at this point. Sue Van Skyver tells me that she has had some not so good weeks. That's usually right after chemo treatments, and some good weeks, which are usually a week or so afterwards. She's finishing that chemotherapy soon and will start radiation therapy. So she's grateful very much for our thoughts and prayers. And of course, friends, you know that many times people share with me and some of you the very private concerns that are not permitted to broadcast, but we have people in our church that value very much you thinking of them and knowing that God understands what they're dealing with. So please share the love with prayer. I want to tell you a bit of a story. There was a little boy who years ago attended Vacation Bible School here at Christ Church. When he came home from BBS one day, his mother asked him, "So, how was your morning?" And this little guy says, "I love it there. God has everything figured out." Startled, his mom said, "Really? Why is that?" And then the little boy said, "Well, because when we go outside to play, we have a great time. But when it's time to come in, God has juice and cookies already." Little guy doesn't know any better, which is fine. But we know that behind the scenes, there's some advanced planning going on. Well, I want to share with you some of the things that are in the advanced planning stage in our ministries. Due to COVID-19, things are not as usual. And of course, advanced planning has to take place as we get ready and move through the summer. So our Faith Formation Commission is doing some advanced planning. There's going to be a commission meeting coming up, and the date still be determined, but teachers and shepherds and leaders will soon be doing a meeting online to figure out some creative ways that we can do faith formation for our children and youth. We're going to be exploring all kinds of options, virtual classrooms, maybe online events, maybe an in-person event if situation is allowing it and conditions permit. Our youth ministry programs, 678ers, I've already told you about the ice cream social. They are doing events over the summer, but they also their advisors are going to be combining, I hope in the near future, in an online Zoom event with our high school youth advisors, and put some creative thinking into how we can do some advanced planning for the fall ministries to take place. Speaking of fall, confirmation program was scheduled to start this year. I still think I'm going to do it. Mentors, I believe, I'm going to be working on recruiting them. If someone would like to be a mentor, or if you are asked to, please prayerfully consider this. The program will likely be an online program with 1 or 2 events taking place in person if, again, conditions allow. Our finance and stewardship ministry is going to be having some advanced planning, as in mid-July, our team will meet again. They're going to come together to talk about how we are doing financially and how we might plan for some creative ways to do stewardship in the fall. Outreach Commission, as you've heard from us several times, have been active all throughout this COVID crisis. The summertime is busy is planning as well. And so an upcoming Zoom meeting will be with Christian World Service, and efforts are being made over the summer to know more and more about the organizations that we support. Our music ministry is doing some advanced planning too, because with James' upcoming departure and with Carol Bubach coming on board, new discussions are going to take place how we proceed with our music program. And so we're going to be thinking through a lot of different angles for that. Worship music, worship ministry. Mentioned this already, that we're looking forward to the fall with potential upgrades to our technology and creative worship practices. Another new ministry coming up, our social, I can't say that word tonight, social justice ministry. Recently, a small group of interested people, church members, gathered together on Zoom to explore what a social justice ministry might look like at Christ Church. A planning meeting is set up now for mid-August, along with some other conversations taking place prior to that. Some ideas that are potentials, maybe a social justice worship series. We're also hoping that potential opportunities to educate ourselves, not only ourselves on the team of people, but the congregation as well, with webinars and speakers, and possibly a response team that can mobilize our church in a time of crisis. So that's coming. Another possibility, our emergency response team was a group of people that a few years ago and up to, in fact, just last year, was putting together some protocols. Well, we're wanting to reignite that group. And over the summer, we hope that those who were serving on the emergency response team would be considering serving again. And if not, then we will hopefully recruit some new folks. So again, if you're interested in serving on our response team, our emergency response team, do let us know. This group will help us to develop some disaster protocols, create teams of medical personnel, help to ensure first aid supplies are stocked up in our building, develop training for ushers and greeters, first responders, security measures, etc. And lastly, friends, I want you to know that our office ministry is upgrading using Realm. Our office ministries is in advanced planning because everyone is encouraged to activate your Realm account. Please respond to the invitation that was sent out to you that you received in the email. Realm is very exciting because you can do all these things. You can update your profile. If you happen to change your email address or your cell phone or your home address, whatever information, you can update that on your own. You can send email to church groups that you serve on. You can send files to committee members. You can chat with other participating members at Christ Church. You can contribute online using Realm to the ministries that we have, fulfilling your pledge. You can contribute to the Capital Improvement Fund. You can contribute to the variety of special outreach efforts or the variety of 5 offerings that we participate in on the National United Church of Christ level. You can see updates in our church. You can see your news. You can see history, all of it. And that is what's happening in the life of Christ Church. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for participating on the online chat, those of you who are doing that. I wish you well. I bid you peace. Remember that God is the God of all of us and all people, nourishing our lives deeply within. Go in peace tonight. Good night.